Hey guys, and welcome back to another season of Discovery Investing video. In this one, we might have some new investments for phase 3 that have recently been data mined. Before we get into it, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone that has gotten a copy of my season of Discovery flipping guide. So recently on Wowhead, they've posted this post that there is new supply turn-ins that have been data mined. Alright, so here is the Wowhead post about the new supply turn-ins that have been data mined for phase 3. So let's go ahead and check these out. Before we get into this though, you do need to know this is just data mined, so this isn't 100%, but more than likely it should come into the game. So first of all, I just want to say it's not 100% certain, but it's been data mined, so there's a good chance that it should come true. So just be careful when you're investing into these items. Don't put all of your gold just into these items. I would recommend also investing into the other phase 3 items before we get around to phase 3. So basically just don't put all your eggs in one basket on these kind of flips, or these investments. So we have a look here, another discovery in our continued data mining of phase 3 are several new spells to replace supplies, seemingly an extension of the waylaid supply system in Season of Discovery. The spells all request some type of profession item to complete the shipment, seemingly similar to the waylaid supply system, which we know about that. Through these new supplies, only one item, while the previous waylaid shipments requested several. So what they've data mined is basically that it only requires one of each of these items, as you can see at one. So very interesting. Maybe if they've just data mined like the number 1 and there's more, or there is actually only going to be one item going into these. So what I've done is I went through all of these and I've got all of the items, and I've got groups made up in TSM of all of the materials to either make these items. Some of these items are just straight items that you can like just farm or you can get hold of without actually crafting them, or if there was ones that required to be crafted, I went in and I looked at what materials were actually used for them, and they are what are in the groups. So the materials for all of these, not the end product that you would have already crafted. So if we go through here, we can have a look at some of these. So there is a bunch of these, as you can see, a whole heap. So I have put them groups together, but let's just have a look at the first one for an example. So here's the first one for an example. This requires 1 undermine clam chowder. So if we go ahead and we see what is actually required to make this, we scroll down the bottom here and we can see that it requires some zesty clam meat, and this is extremely cheap at the moment, and this is going to be a really good item, I think, that you can get for super cheap, and it could end up selling for a lot more. So this is one of the items that I actually bought hundreds of after seeing the news of this data mined. Alright, let's have a look at another one. So the night fin soup, let's see what is required to make this. If we go down, and we can see that it requires 250 cooking, so that will be obviously in the next phase, and it requires raw nightfin snapper. So these could be a good investment to invest into if you can get them cheap on your realm. So any of these items are only if you can pick them up for a really cheap price at the moment on your realm. On some realms, people would have already bought these to invest in these. So just make sure that you're not spending your gold just because. Make sure you're still getting them for a cheap price. Now you can use a website which is called JP Morgan, and you can see if you are getting these for a cheap price compared to how the market has been for the item, and just make sure that you're picking it on a low item or on a low price. I actually have a video that will show you how to buy items to invest in using JP Morgan to see what price is the best price. So I will put a link for that down below in the description box. But basically this is what I've done. I went through and I found out all the materials that are used for all of these data mine supplies, and I've put a group together with TSM, and the group is actually in my classic flipping guide, And if you're in the Discord, you will have already got the new group already, which if you own the Classic Flipping Guide, you get access to a private Discord where you get things like this all the time. But back to them, there's a whole heap. You can go through here and you can figure this out yourself, or you can go ahead, get the Classic Flipping Guide and get the pre-made groups. So what I'll do now is I'll scan the groups and we'll pick up some more of these items. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a scan on the new TSM group and go ahead and grab some of these items. Now, like I mentioned before, don't put all of your gold into these investments. These are just from data mined, so they're not 100% going to happen in the game, but more than likely Wowhead is normally correct with their data mining, so it can be a risk that I'm willing to take, and if it pays off, could make a lot of gold. So as we can see, we're scanning the groups. Now what we want to do is buy the ones that are pretty much under the market value, that haven't already jumped up a crazy amount. We can use JP Morgan to make sure and double check that we're buying these items for a really good price compared to what they've been lately. Or we can read the TSM tooltip and the data that is provided from TSM. So as you can see, just by looking at this, the zesty clam meat looks like it's way under the market value, and it looks like it's going to raise quite a lot. Same with the tender wolf meat. There's a lot of these items that I'm willing to take a chance on just by spending a little bit of gold on these items, and for the chance at selling them for 5 times more than what we actually buy them for. So that is the goal. But like I said, don't put all of your gold into just one investment, and for that matter, don't put all of your gold just in investing into these data mined items. Because you never know, the data mine could be wrong, and then you have a bunch of items that you've got to sell. But some of these are used for other things, and they do seem fairly good, even if they weren't to be in the data mine stuff that they actually were in. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab a decent amount of all of these. And now how the TSM operations are set up with this group, it will only allow us to post them if they're at 2x profit or more. So preferably it will go for as high as possible, but the minimum it will allow us to get is 2x what we paid for them. However, that was it for the video. Let me know how many items you have invested in for phase 3, if you have invested already, and if you would like to get these new TSM groups and operations for some last minute investing for phase 3, you can get that in my Classic Flipping Guide. This guide will also teach you how to do normal flipping, and it's constantly updated. Till the next one, guys, take care.